Hey everybody, Wayne here. In today's Let's Play, I'm going to be playing through the first scenario from Tattered Flags #1, Into the Whirlpool, designed by Hermann Luttmann and published by Blue Panther. This game focuses on the fight around Rose's wheat field during the second day of Gettysburg. Let's get onto the table where I'll explain the scenario setup, explain the rules, and then we'll dive in. Alright, so like I mentioned in my intro, I'm going to play through the first scenario, first contact, out of 6 scenarios in this game. Now, there is a how to play video from the designer, Hermann Luttmann, that's been posted to the Blue Panther YouTube page or YouTube channel. So, go ahead and check that out. I will have a link below, and if I forget the link below, all you got to do is go to the actual games page on Blue Panther, which I will have for sure in the info below. And then you follow it and you'll find links to those videos. So I think is an unboxing and then an actual how to play. So I am going to describe the game. I'm going to run through the sequence of play. I'll explain things. We're going to start off up here, and then I'm going to zoom in closer so you guys get a better viewpoint of everything for the actual playthrough. As always, I do film in 4K, so if it's not in 4K, just make sure it is. Check the bottom right of your screen, click the little gear icon, navigate to 4K. It's going to help you see things a lot better. Okay, so starting off, like I said, I have the first scenario, which is first contact, set up here. It is going to feature one brigade of the Confederates, which is a larger brigade, and then you're going to have 2 separate brigades of the Union, along with 2 artillery batteries. The Confederates do not have any artillery batteries in this entire game. In this particular engagement, part of the battlefield at Gettysburg, the Confederates didn't have any artillery that really participated, at least from the actual battlefield viewpoint. So, which I have the map set up. Again, you can see the entire battlefield all the way from the peach orchard up here, Rose's wheat field here. We have some woods. We have Rose's farmhouse down here. In this first scenario, the Confederate goal is going to be to make their way to these locations here. Now, you can see these are not part of the victory points. This is part of telling you the actual elevation. However, the Confederates are trying to get a unit up here or into any one of these locations. If they're able to, they're going to at least get a minor victory in this scenario. If the Union holds them off, and then depending on some other factors, if they shatter a Confederate formation, then they're going to get a Union victory, possibly decisive victory. The game here, Into the Whirlpool, is played over turns. You can see I have the game turn track over here. Starts at 4:15, and it goes until, depending on the scenario, a certain time, as late as 8 p.m. So they are 15-minute turns. It's a very tactical game. The game starts off with an initiative phase. Initiative is very simple. You're rolling a 1d10 for each side. Whoever has higher is going to win initiative. Now, if one side gets twice as high as the other side, they're actually going to gain momentum, which does give them dominant initiative, which does give them the ability to activate an additional brigade during the same turn, or the same activation phase, I should say. Or if you have initiative 2 turns in a row, then that's where you gain a momentum initiative, which means you're going to reactivate an additional formation during the turn, during the activation phase that's already been activated. Don't worry, it'll make sense once we're playing. Okay, so you determine initiative, you determine who goes first, right? So that first player, they have the first activation phase. During that activation phase, they get to choose a brigade to activate. Again, in this scenario, the rebels only have the 1 brigade, the Union has 2, although each of the artillery batteries, which you have Wilson's up here, and then you have Smith's down here, counts as a brigade or counts as a activated formation for the activation purposes. You will choose one. You will then do the order step. This is where, if they are already assigned an order, which at the very beginning of the game, there's no orders on the board yet, you're going to give orders to each of the formations, each of the brigades. You're going to check the order. Either you can try to assign a new one, which you're going to have to roll for, or you're going to go ahead and follow through that order. You then go into the action step. That is going to be, what are you doing with that order? So an assault, engage, defend, maneuver, regroup, or indecisive order, what you're able to do. And then once you're done, you're going to check for formation integrity, and then it's going to go to the second player. Second player, they're going to have their formations, they're going to activate, they're going to check for orders, conduct all the actions, and And then assuming there are still brigades left, it goes back to the first player, etc. It goes back and forth. Now in this scenario, again, we only have a few brigades out here, so it's not going to take a lot of actions, a lot of activation phases back and forth to get things settled. After both sides go through, and I will go ahead and cover the brigade activation information, by the way, in more detail in just a second here. But after both sides have finished, you will then go into mutual close combat phase. So if you've already played any prior games of Hermann Luttmann's, usually that's part of the regular action steps. Actions, it's not in this one. So they're doing back and forth. You're doing things like moving, conducting fire combat, reorganizing your formations, conducting opportunity fire, etc. Then after all that's done, units that are adjacent and are facing each other, because facing counts in this game, they can conduct, potentially, depending on their order, can conduct close combat. You then finish that off. You then do mutual rally phase. So each side conduct rallies, so reducing or checking for formations that have too much disruption or that are shattered. And then finally you have the end turn phase, which generally means resetting everything and going to the next turn. Let's go ahead. I'm going to rotate the board. I'm going to zoom in and I'm going to show you guys how the formations, brigades, red regiments, all that stuff with orders works. All right, so I went ahead and zoomed in on the Union side. So let's go ahead and just break down what we're seeing here. So we have the entire battlefield, or this section of the battlefield, I should say. Different types of terrain, open terrain, changing elevation. 5 is higher, 4 is lower, 3 continuing on. We have woods, we have a road through here, roses, wheat field, etc. Now we look at the stars. These stars are where the units are actually going to move. Each one of these is a unit. The units are going to be moving. You're moving straight, but then they rotate according to where the points on the stars are. Everything here is the Union 2nd Brigade, except Smith's Battery is technically its own, we consider its own brigade or activated type formation. So just set that aside. Otherwise, he traditionally, during the start, is stacked with the 124th New York, 2 of 2. So if everything here is a brigade, you can see the number 2 up in the corner, and then Ward is their leader. Ward has a command rating of 2 stars that does come into play when you are checking for who is going to have, if you have formation integrity or not, which happens at the beginning of the orders step. So with all these being a brigade, so we start off, say the Union has activation, they're activating a brigade, they would be activating, and say they choose, I want to activate the 2nd Brigade. So let's set aside the artillery for now. They'd be activating all of these units. However, the next step down from brigade is going to be the regiment. Each regiment is going to activate as a formation. So that is going to be then what you're going to be moving and firing with, 1 unit at a time. So in this case, you may say, okay, let's go ahead. I'm just going to work my way left to right. Starting off, I choose the 2nd Brigade. Now, what order are they under, right? So there's no order on the field right now. At the very beginning of the scenario, you get to pick an order. In this particular game, we're definitely going to pick a defend order for the Union, for this brigade anyway. So we go ahead and place the defend order. And for the very first one to start a scenario, you get to just go ahead and apply it. You don't have to roll, right, because you're not changing an order. That's the order you've established before the actual engagement begins here. Defend order is going to have different options. Again, there's assault, engage, defend, maneuver, regroup, and indecisive. All of them have different options you can and can't do based on common sense of what that order is, right? So defend order, you can't conduct a charge and close combat, but you can do fire combat. You have a limited amount of moves. You have a couple reorganize actions. You can go to ground, which is a defensive, right, where you're digging in, right? You're digging in where you are, and you can conduct opportunity fire. So a little bit of maneuver, but really it's a defensive-minded order. All right, so this whole brigade is under a defend order. Now we go ahead and go down to the formation activation, which is, generally speaking, going to be a regiment. So we look at the 124th New York up here. There are 2 units, which you can tell, one of two, 2 of 2. So 2 units in this formation, in this regiment. This one of 2. So whatever the number 1 is, that's going to be the command unit. That is where you place certain markers, such as disruption markers. When you're conducting combat and when the game is played, this formation We talk about formation integrity. So when they move, they have to stay together. It's the end of their movement anyway. They have to be adjacent in some way. If not, they don't have formation integrity, and they have to try to regain it the next turn. When they suffer combat results, they suffer a disruption on them that is applied to the command unit here, applied to that 1 of 2, 1 of 3, 1 of 4, depending how many actual separate units are within that regiment, within that formation. All right, each of the units as well, you can see, has another number on there that we're going to take a look at here. So you have the brigade number or brigade icon in the top corner. So in this case is the second brigade. Then you have 1 of 2, 2 of 2 units within this formation. It's 124th New York. You can tell they're infantry because that is the graphic that's on there. And then a number that's very important is the number in the top left. The 3 on here is their experience level. So there's going to be 5 different experience levels. A 1 is raw, 2 is green, 3 is seasoned, so 124th is considered seasoned, 4 is veteran, 5 is the highest, and they are a crack unit, a crack formation. That is going to be the number of actions they can take. That can be changed depending on, certain things that are happening. It may be based on if they have a leader stack with them, etc. Indecisive, they have an indecisive order, they -1 unit action each. But basically that number, not only experience and not only influencing from when they are firing or they're suffering morale tests, things like that, but it actually also impacts the amount of actions they can take in a turn. All right, so we have our formation. We've activated the brigade. We've activated the formation we choose, 124th. We conduct whatever action we want to do, right? We want to move them. Okay, we're going to move. I'm move him there and stop. I'm going to move him there. I'm going to stop. That's 1 movement each, right? You're done. You maybe are conducting a fire. You're conducting something else. All those rules we'll look at later. After that formation's done, so you say, okay, I'm done with that formation now. You go on to the next one. You activate whatever formation you want, as long as it's within that brigade, right? So 86 New York over here. It could go over to the 99th Pennsylvania. After everything's done, you want to make sure that you have your formation integrity, just for your sake. Otherwise, it's going to hurt you in the future, because you're going to have to reestablish formation integrity. So you're going to find yourself keeping, although these can be separate, right? You can have, say, like this. You could have, so it's not like each of the regiments has to be all together, but you're going to want to have those regiments together themselves, as opposed to necessarily the whole brigade. Orders you can change during the game. You're going to have to roll on a chart. There's a good chance that the order is going to be delayed, or there's going to be some miscommunication, some confusion. Pretty common, right, in the American Civil War. I'm not going to cover how actual combat works. We'll do that when I actually play, but I think that should cover hopefully the idea of the activation system and how it works from brigade down to regiment/formation, and then moving on for each one. Once everyone's done, you're going to go ahead and either activate another brigade if you have that ability, or potentially ending your turn, ending your activation phase, I should say, and then going to the other player's activation phase. So I think it's enough for now. Oh, the only one thing I guess I can mention is the fact that artillery batteries, they count as basically brigades. So it's a big deal to activate them. So you could say, okay, you have all of this is 1 brigade you could activate, or you can activate this artillery. However, obviously artillery, they can fire long range. They can cause some good damage, especially close up and point blank. Canister, they can really hurt the enemy. But with the Union having twice the amount of activations per turn that the Confederates get, you're going to end up activating your artillery plenty, and you get lots of good chances to use them in this scenario and in the game. So, all right, speaking of which, I think let's go up. I'm going to go ahead and back the camera up. I'm probably going to have the map reoriented again, so left, right, just so we're kind of in the middle, and we'll go ahead and start the playthrough. So let's do it. Hey guys, Future Wayne here. So I filmed my whole playthrough and then I forgot to mention the battle cards. The reason being, in my playthrough, I am not using the battle cards. They're listed as optional in the rulebook, and when you're playing solitaire, it's a little harder to use them. I'm not saying it's impossible. For some people, it's easier than other people. For me, I struggle a little bit with managing, 2 different kind of hands of cards and all that. Again, if you want to, feel free to, especially, solitaire. But as it is, the battle cards, I will not be using them, but run through them quick. So there are battle cards for the game, basically special events you can have happen. At the end of a turn, each side gets to draw 2 battle cards. Basically, they're going to have either something that affects, sort of equally, or we're going to have one that affects either side, right? Rebel yell. So if you're the rebels, you get to say, hey, after the rebel charge declared, charging rebel unit is automatically made confident, which you can give them a bonus when conducting close combat. Or something like hold the line for the Union, defending unit is automatically made confident, again, helps them during close combat. Or you can do, a movement, or I believe it's a fire action. Yeah, I believe it's a movement, or you can do a fire action, a single volley action. So, and then again, there's all kinds of different things. You can change orders on people. You can remove disruption, reduce disruption, etc. All kinds of different fun things. I just don't do it when I'm playing solo, but feel free to. Okay, on to the playthrough. So before the scenario begins, each of the brigades is given an order. Starts off with the Union. They go ahead and assign their orders, and then the Confederates will give an order for their one brigade in the game. So Union here, looking at what they have, remember they're on the defensive in this scenario. They're trying to hold these locations right here. So they're going to give, Ward is going to give his second brigade over here a defend order. And I'll go ahead and put it like that. So the defend order goes with the actual leader counter. And then we have de Trobriand up here. He is pretty far away. They want him to try to maneuver if he can get in a position to support, maybe threaten the Confederates on their left flank. So they're going to give him a maneuver order. And then for the Confederates, because for the Union and their brigades, those are two brigades, they may say, well, Wayne, what about the artillery batteries you mentioned? Those don't follow the traditional order system. Those will just have their own actions they can take, basically moving, either very limited movement while unlimbered, or they can limber and move faster, or fire combat. Okay, so for them, you just do that when you're actually activating them. Okay, so now we go to the rebels. What are they going to do? Well, what do you think? They got to go ahead and move up. They got to engage the Union. They got to kind of push them back. So we'll start off with, we're going to give an engage order to Robertson. I think that'll do it. Yep. Okay, so we have the orders assigned to their brigades. Now we start, first turn of the game. It is going to be 4:15 in the afternoon here on July 2nd, 1864. Let's see who has initiative. So we're going to go ahead and roll. You're rolling D10. The game's D10. D10 for either 1D10 or when you are doing 2 dice, which what we're going to do is we're going to do the red die first when we are rolling 2 dice to determine a 100. So from 0-1 up to 100. So let's go ahead and roll, though, for the initiative. Blue die is the Union, obviously, and then the red die will have to be the Confederacy. All right, so 10 for the Confederates and then 1 for the Union. So not only, obviously, did the Confederates roll higher, so it is going to be a rebel initiative, so they get to have the first player, but also because they had more than twice as high as the Union, it's actually a dominant initiative, which does allow them, according to the rules, to activate a second brigade during their activation phase. Unfortunately, in this scenario, the rebels only have 1. You can do a house rule. You can do it differently if you want, but according to the rules, they only have the 1. So we're going to just play the game by the rules here. So we're going to do house rules later or in a different game if you would like to, that way the rebels don't have a disadvantage in this particular scenario. Okay, so their initiative, they get to go first. So first player activation phase, choose your activated brigade or brigades. In this case, it's just going to be the second brigade because that's all that the rebels have in this scenario. So Robertson's brigade, activating everybody, and then order step. So what is the order right now? It is the engage order. That's the order we gave him at the very beginning. An engage order allows us opportunity fire, which we will likely not do, but we'll see. Fire combat, important, which being an engage order, you get a free fire combat as well. Up to 3 movement actions, and then a reorganize action as well, potentially. We're not going to change the order, because why would we do that? So now we go to the order step. The order step, we do want to check for, make sure everyone is in command. You can be in command or out of command. All you're doing, you're checking for your leader, checking for the number of stars they have. So having 3 stars, he is a superior leader. Inferior has 1 star, Average has 2 stars. For instance, Ward has 2 stars. De Trobriand has 2 stars. Robertson has 3, which means command range is 6 spaces. Spaces right like this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. However, woods do count as 2, but then roads only count as half. And all you have to do is trace to the closest unit in a regiment / formation, right? So from Robertson, it would be 1 over to the 3rd Arkansas, 1 to the 1st Texas, and then 1, 2 to the 15th Georgia. Now 1 is a wood, so technically it's 1, 2, 3. Again, he's a superior leader, so he has up to 6, so everyone is definitely in command. And again, it's just the closest unit. Once the closest unit in that formation, in that regiment, is in command, all the rest of them are in command. Okay, so everyone's in command. We got our order. It's the action step. Let's start moving. So by formation and then by unit. So we can pick the 1st Texas here. We can pick the 3rd Arkansas. We can pick the 15th Georgia. Let's go ahead and do the 1st Texas. 1st Texas, they're under an engage order. You can do a unit by unit, or in the case of, say, movement, you can do by the stack. All right, how is movement done? Very simple. You have the number of actions that unit has, which all of the Texas units have 5. So they are it's a crack formation, so they have 5 actions. Movement, when you come to terrain, it's not going to limit how much your movement is. What it's going to do is potentially cause disruption if you are in rough terrain, if you're going over fences, if you're crossing stone walls, if you're crossing creeks, etc. Just to show the realities of, tactical movement in the American Civil War. You have your formations of regiments, and they're moving, and they're going to become disrupted, right? They're going to kind of drift apart as you're moving through woods and difficult terrain. But you have a chance to kind of get yourself back together and not suffer disruption. Here's what I mean by that. So starting off, again, 1st Texas. Let's start off this stack down here, which is the 3rd, 3 or 4, and 4 or 4. Those 2 units, I'm going to operate them as a stack for movement purposes. I'm going to go ahead and be moving. Again, we got to take these locations here, right? At least one of them. You don't have to take all of them, just one. So we got to move towards a union. So starting off, 5 actions for the stack. However, remember, in an engage order, we can only do up to 3, but that's okay. Starting off, let's go ahead and move 1. Let's move 2. And let's move 3. Now, we've used 3 actions. We've used our max amount of movements. We can't actually move any more. Now, we've used the most amount of movement actions. We do have 2 actions left, which is a good thing, because if we stopped here and say we were in a position to do fire combat, which we are not, because the woods on the same same elevation is going to block that fire combat. We can't do that anyway. But if we were going to do that and ignore, what would happen is we would actually suffer multiple disruptions. Disruptions are each of your formations, and I think I forgot to mention this during the overview, which apologies to that, but you're starting off with 1 disruption, 2, 3, 4, 5, up to 6. Once you're at 6 and you suffer any more disruptions, that formation is actually going to have units get flipped over to their battle-worn side. They suffer casualties. And from there, a casualty on a battle-worn, it is removed from the map. You don't want that to happen. You want your units on the map so they can do things. So, moving across into woods, moving across a fence, moving across a stream, all those would cause disruptions. I believe that would be 3 disruptions, which would be horrible for this formation. Keep in mind as well, disruptions are not unit by unit. It's not the 3rd, 3 or 4, 4 or 4, each would have 3. No, that entire 1st Texas, so the command unit, the 1 of 4, would take the disruptions. So he would then have 1, or like I said, potentially, I think it would actually be 3. So we put 3 on him. But that's already half our disruptions. We don't want that to happen. So what we're going to do, we took 3 actions to move. We have 2 actions left. The 4th action, so one of those 2 that are left, we are going to redress. What does that mean? Very simple. Any movement, any disruptions that you suffer from movement, if you take an action to redress your formation, redress your units, you go ahead and remove any disruptions caused by movement. It doesn't remove any that are caused by combat, of course, nothing like that. Don't even think about it. But it does remove. So any of those 3 that we potentially would put on us, we don't have to put any of them on because we're going to stop, we're going to redress, and we're good. Now, the 1st Texas, they each have 1 action left here, the 3-4 and 4-4. However, their actions, they're up to the max move already. Reorganize not going to help, plus that's actually a command action. Only the command unit can do that. But they can't do fire combat because the woods here, 1, 2, 3, yep. See, the woods here is going to block line of sight because it's on the same level. these units are higher, you're going to be able to shoot down at them. If you're shooting over woods, it'll be obscured. It's just going to have a reduced chance. But them, as far as I'm aware anyway, based on line of sight, I believe they are blocked for line of sight. So they're basically going to just end their activation and not be able to do anything else. Okay, continuing the first Texas here. So 1-4-2-4. So the command unit and another unit. Go ahead, same deal. We're going to go ahead and move. 1, 2, 3. So go ahead and cozy up right next to them. Fourth action, go ahead and redress so we don't suffer any disruptions. And the fifth action, unfortunately, is going to be wasted. Okay, continuing on. Let's activate the 3rd Arkansas. So that formation is now activated. They have 4 actions each, so 1 less. So just keep that in mind. You have to pay attention to what that number is. And the 15th Georgia is going to be even less. They only have 3 actions each, potentially anyway. Okay, so let's go ahead and we'll move them as well under the engage order. Remember, up to 3 movement. So we will do 1, 2, should keep doing? Yeah, let's just go ahead and 3. And then we will redress with our 4th action. 1, 2, 3, and then redress with the 4th action. Let's do, where should I get the 15 Georgia? So we'll activate the 15 Georgia down here. 1, 2, oh, then they got to stop, don't they? If we don't want to suffer disruptions, which we don't. So we'll stop to redress. 1, 2, he'll stop to redress. And then Robertson, you move him. You can move them separate. The leaders, they have, what is it? I believe they have, it's at 6 movement, I believe. Let me double check. Okay, it's actually 3. So 3, they can move 3 spaces, non-road, plus 1 space over road. So here's what, right here. So he'll go 1, 2, and then he'll just stop there, just to make sure he's kind of in the middle, making sure everyone stays in command for the future. So, okay, so we activated each of the formations within Robertson's brigade. That is it for that activated brigade. Now remember, the rebels did have a dominant initiative, so if they had another brigade, they could activate it. Unfortunately, they don't, and the dominant does not allow you to reactivate a brigade that's already activated. Sorry. So it now goes to the, well, technically you would check for formation integrity, which everyone's together. I'm pretty good at keeping that. You'd have to, I think in the larger battles, it's probably more of an issue of trying to keep formations together. But as it is, obviously everyone is adjacent to each other. Each of the formations is anyway, so we're good there. So now we go to the 2nd player activation. So now the Union gets to activate their brigades and move on down the sequence of play. All right, so for the Union, again, during their activation, they do get to activate 2 brigades versus the Rebels only with 1. Also, for this particular scenario right now, since the Rebels have already activated their 1 brigade, technically the Union, they're going to have an activation. They're going to activate 2, right? So 2 brigades along with 2 different batteries of artillery. So that's 4 activations, right? So you get to activate 2 of those brigades. And then it would go to the Rebels, but then the Rebels would have to pass because they have nobody to activate. So it goes back to the Union. So in this case, in this scenario, the Union are going to activate basically all of them at once. Just keep in mind that technically it's 1 phase, goes to the Rebels, they pass automatically, and it goes back to the Union. Okay, so starting off, we have a maneuver order up here for de Trobriand. So let's go ahead and get his guys moving here. Maneuver order is 1 fire combat. Move actions, they get actually a free movement as well, and then no reorganizing. So heavily on the movement with potentially a little bit of fire. So let's start off. We have the 17th Maine, and I believe he's also stacked on a 17th Maine. Yep. So that formation will activate. So he basically has just the one regiment, the 1 formation under his command here. Let's go ahead for the first one. We'll activate 17th Maine. Let's get them maneuvering here. So now, let's see, they have 3 actions each, and the maneuver gives a plus one move action, a free move action. So let's go ahead and rotate. That's 1. Move here, 2, and then rotate again, 3. And then they said they get a free one, right? However, keep in mind that we did cross the fence there, so that would be disruption, but I think we're willing to take 1 of them, right? So then let's go ahead and move 4. Remember, because we get a free bonus 1 because we're under a maneuver order. All right, so then that would be 1 disruption. So you just take 1 disruption and put it with the command unit, which is the 1 of 3, right? Whatever the first unit, the number 1 unit is. And this one will go with stack with the leader, which, because he's with the leader, he actually gets a +1 bonus action, as long as he's stacked to start. So he could do 1, 2, 3, and then, well, is that 3? I kind of don't want to suffer another disruption, though. So I think we'll go ahead and you get a bonus move. So then, yeah, 4. So bonus move, so we will rotate, remember facing, and then we'll go ahead and stop, and we'll use the last action for a redress. I think you get 3 movement. 1, 2, 3. Oh, no, actually, he'll be like this. And then we'll go ahead and do a redress, because I don't want to suffer another disruption. And we'll just put the maneuver order with the leader there. So, and the leader moved with him stacked. Oh, but he got a bonus for being with the leader. Oh, geez, you guys. I know. There we go. There we go. It's at least lined up. There we go. All right. So that is it for the 17th main. So we can activate Ward, all of his. We could do Smith's battery. We could do Winslow's battery. Whatever we want to do. Let's actually try some fire combat. See what that's like. So let's do that. Well, or should we wait? Let's actually do this. So what I'm going to do is Winslow's battery. Let's activate Winslow's battery here. We're going to do a little bit of movement with them and then some potential fire combat here. So when they are, and they're unlimbered, right, they're ready to fire, and there is the battery activated tokens here, or limbered, right, to show they're ready for movement. What you can do while unlimbered still, you can take an action, do a movement, however you can only move 1 space. And that's it. That's the maximum they can move. It does only take 1 action, so they still have other actions, which they each have 4. So they have 1 to move, so he can move. And he still has 3 actions to take. So we're going to move him just 1 straight ahead, get a little bit closer, and then he's actually going to shoot. So, fire combat, seems like it's complicated. It's really not. Here's how you run through it here. So, fire combat, you are declaring your target unit. So we have the firing unit here, and then a target unit. The target unit is going to have to be the closest enemy unit to him. So you can't choose to fire at somebody much farther away. If there's somebody closer, that's who they're firing at. Just, reality of men, especially during the American Civil War. You saw an enemy in front of you, that's the one you are going to shoot at. So our firing unit, we have a target unit. It's going to be the top unit in a stack, if there's a stack. So it'll be 1 of 4, 3rd Arkansas. That's who he's shooting at, potentially. Here we're checking for... it must be in the fire zone. The fire zone is basically like a cone coming out from the unit along these lines right here. It has to be right in that cone. It can be no farther away than the firing unit's extreme weapon range. Let's check range here. So we'll start from here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. A smoothbore cannon, because he is smoothbore, unfortunately. There's an S next to the 4 that indicates he's a smoothbore cannon. The other, so Smith's battery over here, that's rifled cannon. So he is smoothbore, which does have a reduced range, right? So I said it was 6. A smoothbore cannon, extreme range is 8. So technically, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's more than battle range. It's either point blank, battle, or extreme. He's in extreme range, so it does qualify. And then we have to check visibility. Is there a clear line of sight to the target unit? Line of sight is traced through connecting adjacent hexes from the firing unit to the target unit. It has to be traced in a straight line through one of the 3 front spaces. So we have our artillery. There's 1, 2, 3. So one of these 3 spaces we start with. We then have to trace a straight line, and then it can change 45 degrees once to get to the enemy. So what does that mean by that? With this one, it's going to be fairly simple. We're going to go, let's see here. Well, if we start here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Or if we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Plus, the nice thing about this one, because it's hitting the unit in the side, that's actually going to be flank fire, which we like flank fire. So we're going to go ahead and pick this to start. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so we have that path. Now our path, we have to check the terrain along the way to see if anything's going to block us. Now we are on elevation 2, and the enemy unit is on elevation 1, I believe. Where is this one? Yep, that's an elevation 1 right here. So the artillery is higher than him. So he's going to be able to shoot over, say, these woods here. That would be the main concern, right? These woods. He's going to get to shoot over them. So he's going to have line of sight. It's going to be obscured now, but we'll get into that when we talk about the actual adjustments and everything. But looking at tracing the path, tracing line of sight, checking the terrain, no units even in the way, he can fire over everybody. He's all good. He's going to be able to fire. All right, now we do the percentage chance to hit. You have your base 2 hit. The base 2 hit is going to be based on the range, and that's either point blank, battle, or extreme, which unfortunately it is extreme range, so that's 10%. So when you're rolling, right, 1d 100, it's going to be 1 to 100, you have a 10% chance, but there are going to be other things that can help you. All right, first off, we check for additional volleys. So one action is actual fire. We can use additional actions for extra volleys, or maybe more coordinated fire, whatever you want to call it. So we spent 1 action, we have 4. We spent 1 to move out of 4, so we have 3 left. One of them is going to be the actual fire combat, which means there's 2 left. Those other 2 we're going to make extra volleys. When you have an extreme attack, each volley adds plus 5%. So that 10% goes 15 and now 20. So we're at 20%. Then you're going to check for any disruption on the batteries, which they have no disruption, and they probably won't because I can't imagine the Confederates will be able to hurt them this game. Then you're going to check for any cover, gone to ground on either the fire attack, attack unit or defending unit, obscured, plunging fire, or canister. So, where's the target? So where were we at? We were at 20%, right? Check to see, is the target, where's the target? The target is in woods, that's minus 15, so now we're down to 5%. They are behind a stone wall here, but that doesn't count. It would only be right behind them. They are in formation integrity. They haven't gone to ground. The line of sight is obscured because you're firing over top. So that goes minus 5%. They have no disruption on them. The firing unit is not battle worn, but it is plunging fire because it's firing from a higher elevation. So that minus 5, plunging fire, adds 10%. So it goes to 5%. And finally, canister would be artillery firing at adjacent target, right next to them. You're loaded with our canister and fire. So they only have a 5% chance to hit. Not too good, but might as well give it a roll, okay? So red die first. So you want to get a 5 or less. So that is a 52. So obviously that is a miss. No negative effect. If you roll 96 or higher, you suffer disruption, considered low ammo. All right, now we're going to do the same thing with the other unit in the battery. He's going to go ahead and move forward 1. Now he has... did I forget flank? Oh, flank would be if he gets a hit, then it's an extra disruption. That's what. So flank does not increase the percentage. It just increases the effect of a hit. Okay, so very simple. We're also going to fire, and closest going to be for that stack. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So same thing, unfortunately for him, it is going to be 6. Once they get closer, we're going to start unleashing heck on them. Okay, so very simple, same thing. Like I said, it's going to be 6. He's going to fire, it's 10 for extreme, 10%. 2 more volleys added, makes it 20. Target is in the woods, so that drops it to 5. Obscured, so it drops it to negative 5. But then he's plunging fire because he's higher, so plus 5%. Don't worry, later on we're going to have 41. Ooh, see, it was almost 1. It was actually almost a hit, funny enough. 41, that's a miss. That's okay. Later on, very soon, we're going to have fire combat that's going to start hitting, and you're guys going to see what happens when it works, and it's going to be pretty devastating. So, okay. Now, so for the Union, again, they activated the 3rd Brigade. They activated Winslow's Battery. So they're done for their activation. It goes back to the Rebels. Oh, what do you know? The Rebels don't have any brigades to activate. So now it goes back to the Union, who are then going to be activate Ward's Brigade, which is all the infantry, and then Smith's Battery as well. All right. And then something that I've been forgetting to do, but it doesn't matter a whole lot because it's just me playing. But technically, after the leaders are activated, you flip them over. And then on the back side, it says activated. Ta-da! Doesn't matter as much for me. It's just me playing solo, and there's only a couple formations, a couple brigades, but just remember that for the future. Technically, you flip the leader over. Okay, so let's go ahead and activate Ward, and we'll flip him over just so we get that done. We're going to activate, so all these infantry, part of the 2nd Brigade, are going to activate. Let's start off with the 124th New York over here. Let's get them moving, I think. So they're under defend order. So defend order, they have opportunity fire, which hasn't applied yet. Go to ground ability, which we will do. Fire combat, 2 moves, and 2 reorganize. So let's do some moves here. So 2 of 2, 124th New York, 124th New York. He's going to move 1. So first action, he'll move. And then he will go ahead and go to ground as his second and last action. Now, he didn't go any disruption terrain, so he has to worry about redressing, but he's going to go to ground. Go to ground is just going to add an additional 10% to when he's shot at, or technically when he is shooting. So it does impact his shooting, but it helps protect him as well. So we'll go on to ground on him. And the 1 of 2, so the actual command unit, 124th, he's going to move up 1 as well. He crossed defense, so he would be disrupted, but his second action, he will redress. And then his third and final, he will go to ground as well. So just establishing a defensive position. Again, these spots, right, that's where the Confederates trying to get. So now they're protected, at least for now. All right, and then that is it for their activations, any of their actions themselves. So the 86 New York is going to move as a stack. 1, 2, and then he will stop. They will stop as a stack and spend their third action to redress. So no negatives. Let's do the 20th Indiana. I'm gonna leave Ward behind, I think. 1, 2. Let's see. Actually, they'll be on a road. A road does not. Road only counts as it's a +1 space. I guess it's. I don't know if it's free. A free pivot. I don't know. 1, 2. So free 1, what is it? Road +1 space or pivot. So I guess that's a freebie. 1, 2, and then they will go ahead and stop and redress. Okay. The 20th Indiana, the other unit here will move 1, 2, and then +1. So I think that's, again, that should be a freebie, and then he will stop and redress. Another Pennsylvania, 1, 2. He has to stop and redress. 1, 2, stop and redress. Again, we don't want to suffer any disruptions yet. He can move up later. Okay, and now Ward, he will go ahead and move up just to make sure he's not getting with 2. Leader in general has 3 spaces. Road counts as +1, so freebie, I guess, and then 2, and he'll stop there. Technically, again, you would always check for in command, but I know at the very beginning of the scenario, they're in command, right? 1, 2, 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 2. So everyone's in command, don't worry. Again, I think more of the maybe bigger battles or guys start getting spread out, then you want to check for in command for sure. So, all right, and then these guys actually did activate, so we'll throw these battery activated on them. So that is it for the 2nd Brigade over here for the Union. So let's go ahead and Smith's battery here. Where was he at? Was he here? Yeah, he was there, right? So then he will move 1, and then he is going to fire. Yes, he is going to try to fire. So he has 2 actions, and so he'll fire with 1, and the second action will be a volley, additional volley. So, as usual, firing unit, target unit, he's going to fire at the first Texas right ahead of him here, this stack. Check the range, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4, and he is also a rifled cannon, not smoothbore. That's in battle range, so not point blank. 3 is point blank. So once they're to here or closer, that's to be point blank range. Woo-wee. All right, so this is battle range. Battle range gives you a base 20% chance to hit. And then we check all of our modifiers, right? So it's 20% plus he is doing, was it 1 more on the volley, which battle adds 10%, so that makes it 30. The target is in the woods, so it drops to 15. It is an obscured line of sight because he's firing over woods, so that drops it to 5. No disruptions, no battle worn. It's plunging though, that's 10, so it goes up to 15%. So 15% chance to hit, still pretty low, but you never know. They die first, as always. 39, that is a miss. Boom, activated. I think that's it. Okay, that's the 4:15 turn of the first scenario, first contact into the Whirlpool. All right, so it would be mutual close combat phase, which nobody's adjacent that's enemy, so they can't, no close combat. Mutual rally phase, however, there's no rallying going on. That would be formations with a disruption level of 6 or any shattered formations. Not a concern yet. That'll happen later in the game. So the end turn phase, which end turn, you're removing battery activated markers, you're flipping leaders over to their unactivated side, and getting ready for the next turn. So let's go ahead and do that, and we'll be starting second turn. All right, turn 2, the 4:30 turn. And then, by the way, I don't think I clarified, we play through the 5 o'clock turn from this scenario. So there's only 4 turns in the actual scenario itself. All right, turn number 2, let's go ahead and roll for initiative. Remember, red die is the Confederates and blue is the Union. All right, Union got 10 and the Confederates got 2. So it does flip over to the Union side as well. Remember, because it is double, more than double then, 10 versus 2, it actually becomes a dominant Union initiative. So they will get to activate an additional brigade or artillery battery during their first activation here. So it's going to be Union will activate now 3, right? 3 brigades / artillery for batteries. Then it goes to the rebels. They'll do their activation, and then it'll be back to the Union for whatever is left over that they did not activate before. So, okay, Union first, huh? Interesting. Actually, kind of, I think for the Union, I was kind of wondering if they would go, almost be better to wait for the rebels to get closer for them to activate. So, but that's okay here. Let's do this. Let's go ahead and they're going to activate, let's see. So, the Trobriand, right? Yeah, they'll choose his 3rd Brigade. Check for orders, which he's under maneuver. They're under a maneuver order currently. That should be fine. In command, yep, everyone is literally stacked or one spot away. So definitely in command. Yeah, I think it's going to continue with the maneuver order here. So continuing to move. It'll be move as a stack. And remember, with the maneuver order, they get plus free move action. So three each here. 1, 2, 3, and then they get a free movement. Should they rotate? Oh, getting close though. No, they're gonna move here 4, and then they will with that was their free one. Oh no, shoot, they should stop here, huh? 1, 2, 3. Anyway, because if they move, they're gonna not be redressed. Yeah, they'll stop there. Up, and then 1, 2, 3, and you can only have 2 units in a hex, so that's why I'm not trying to stack 3. They'll stop there as well, I think. Yeah, and activated. Okay, yeah, let's do that. All right, now the Union has 2 more. I think they're gonna do. I think they'll activate Winslow's battery. Should they try to move him closer? No, I think they're gonna wanna stay up here and see what they can do up here, because once actually they may not even be able to fire anymore once they're down there. So yeah, they'll fire from here. So Winslow's battery combat, I know it's pretty low chance, so that's why I feel kind of like, are you serious firing from here? But it is what it is, right? So he will fire, conduct fire combat at the 4th Arkansas, this stack right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He has 4 units, so first one's fire, 3 volleys, so but it is at still extreme range at 6, unfortunately. So 10, and then plus 5 for each of the other actions. There's 3 of them. It's 15, so a total of 20. However, target is in woods. That drops it to 5. And then obscured, yes, so it's -5. Plunging fire, 10, so it's plus 5. Plus 5? Wasn't it plus 5 before? Shouldn't it be 1 higher now? Hang on. 10. Let's see, 25. It should be 25. Minus 15 drops to 10. Minus 10, 0. Yep, 0, and then plus 10. So it's 10%. It is 10% hit, not 5. Okay, 10% to hit. Red first, 41. Bummer. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, whatever. Same thing. And it'll be the exact same. Yeah, 10%. Oh, I thought it was 0-4. No, it's using red die first. I meant blue die first. Just kidding. Haha. All right, so those both missed. So that is 1 activation, 2 activations, and that'll be the 3rd. Smith's battery here. He's going to go ahead and activate and conduct a fire combat. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that is going to be battle range for a rifle cannon. Right, which is 20%, plus he has 2 other actions, which will both be volleys, which at battle adds 10 each. That's total of 20, so that's total of 40. However, the target is in the woods. That drops it to 25. Obscured, yes, drops it to 15. But then it goes back up to plunging fire to 25%. 25%, red die first. Boom, that is a hit. So what you do, I knew it happened eventually. So you go ahead and put a hit marker down on that unit. It applied to the formation, but just throw it down, and then you would resolve whatever activations are left in that activated formation. In this case, it's just Smith's battery. It's just the one, so he will be done with his. So we go ahead and resolve the hit. Very simple. A regular hit is going to be converted into 1 disruption. The disruption is placed with the command unit, so the 1 of 4, right? Whatever the number 1 unit is, and go ahead and remove the hit. Very simple, beginning to build disruption. Now, remember that disruption is going to hurt them when it comes to their fire combat, or when they are conducting fire, and then obviously the higher the disruption, the more closer you're going to get to being shattered or suffering casualties. So, all right, and I think that was, oops, I did not activate the whole award. I only did, right, we did Troybrand, we did Winslow's battery, and then we did the Smith's battery over here. So that's it for the Union. So now it goes over to the Rebels. So they can go ahead and begin their activation phase. All right, so the Rebels are going to activate. They only have the 1 brigade, right? 2nd Brigade, so they're going to activate them under the engage order. I don't think they're trying to change the order. That's what they're trying to do, engage, get close, fire, and then potentially maybe next turn go into a potential charge if they have to, which they'll probably have to, but we'll get to that when we get there. So, all right, we are checking for in command, which 1 away, 1, 2, 1, 2. Everyone's in command, no worries there. All right, order step. Again, we're going to do the engage order. So action step, here we go. First Texas, yeah, they're moving up. They're going to probably take the brunt of this, but they can just capture one of those 2 spots. The Rebels will be good. So here we go. They're going to move as a stack, and under the remember, under the engage order, they have up to 3 move actions. So 1, 2, 3. Now, a couple things are happening here. First off, they're now adjacent. They can't move forward anymore. It's not how it works is for close combat. That's actually, remember, the mutual close combat phase after the activation phases. So it doesn't happen during a phase, during a movement phase. Second, they can only move 3, so they move their full 3. Third, opportunity fire. Units that are under a defend order, and for purposes of opportunity fire, artillery, although they are not under any orders, operate as though they're under defend order, have opportunity fire. So all these units here potentially have opportunity fire they can take. And trust me, they're going to take it. So you do that before you resolve any other actions. So 1, 2, 3. Now his 4th action would be a redress. And with his 5th and final, he's probably going to do a little fire combat. But we have to resolve the opportunity fire first. So just imagine, if I forget to mention the redress, that's the plan, so you don't suffer any other disruptions. All right, Smith's battery here, artillery. Let's do the first opportunity fire with them. It's going to be pretty devastating. They don't get to add any volleys. So what it is opportunity fire is 1 fire as though it's just you have 1 action. But again, for artillery, especially point blank, it's going to definitely have potential to cause some damage here. Infantry as well, though, so we will see. All right, so Smith's battery is going to go ahead and fire. Point blank is up to 2, so 1 away adjacent. That's definitely point blank. It's 30%. Target is not in woods. It's not behind any sort of nothing's gone to ground, nothing like that. Technically, the infantry's gone to ground, but the artillery did not. It's not obscured. He has no disruption. Not battle worn. Plunging fire. Is it higher? It is actually. See, 4 elevation to 3. So that adds 10. So 30 becomes 40. And then artillery firing an adjacent target adds 20% because they're firing canister. So now it's 60% chance to hit. Red die first. Let's see what happens. 87. They miss with a 60% chance. That's the fortunes of war. That's the chaos of war. That's why we play the games. That's why we roll the dice, right? You never know. You can imagine that maybe the first Texas, you say, well, how is that realistic? Well, its elevation. Maybe they got down low. They all hit their bellies. Artillery was misaimed. The artillery didn't expect them to be charging up the hill. You never know. That happens. Stranger things happen in the real war. It could happen in the game. Okay, so the artillery fired. Now, we're definitely conduct a fire with the 124th New York, 2 of 2, excuse me. And then I think we'll hold with the other units just because potentially, which the only other one would be the 1 of 2, the command unit for 124th New York, because I'm guessing they're going to come up. That's what the union's thinking. They're going to come up. All right, so he will fire, though. So the infantry will fire. Same percentage, sort of. So 30% because it's point blank. Infantry as well as point blank is 1. They can shoot up to, by the way, battle range for rifled musket is 3, and then extreme is 5. And I think everyone in this battle, all these infantry are rifled muskets, not smoothbore. So point blank is 1, battle is 3, extreme is 5. Okay, so point blank, that's 30%. Right, straight ahead again. No target, not in the woods, nothing like that. So 30%. The firing unit has gone to ground. Remember, he's in defensive kind of formation here, so it does drop that to 20 because it's minus 10. And then, oh, he's not disrupted at all. Okay, so it's a 20, but he's a plunging fire plus 5, so adds 5, so 25%. So 25%, not the same, but you never know. Red first. A 92. Okay, not bad enough for low ammo, but not enough for hit either. So the 1st Texas so far has been pretty lucky. All right. We finished the opportunity fires. Now the 1st Texas, these 2 units. Again, the 4th one, their 4th action, right, will be to redress, so they won't suffer any disruptions. And then they're going to conduct a, take one after the other, conduct a fire of their own. So, top unit, and then second, you don't combine fires. It's just going to be each unit, one after the other. So the top one, point blank, 30%. Target up here, not in woods, not behind a stone wall. However, it is, and we have to look at, it's gone to ground, so minus 10, so 30, point blank drops to 20. And then 1st Texas does have a disruption, so that drops to 15. And then no other bonuses at all, so 15%. Red die first. 62, not good enough. And then another 15% before the 4-4 Texas is also going to fire. 27, not quite good enough. Not a lot of fire combat hits yet in the game, but don't worry, they're coming. Once your units are this far apart, it's going to be happening. All right, so that is it for them. So the rest of the formation activates, which will be the 1 of 4 and 2 of 4 of Texas, 1st Texas here. So 1, 2, 3, boom. So again, it moves in adjacent. There's going to be opportunity fire. Go ahead and move that up so I don't forget. Then he will do a redress and probably a fire. So 124th New York, 1 of 2, is going to go ahead and fire at the 1st Texas here. Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. I was thinking maybe moving the camera down, get a little closer so you guys can see it. Should I do that and see a little action? Kind of miss what's up here, but let's not mess with it yet. I'll mess with it next turn, guys. So I'll zoom in the camera a little bit more so we get a little bit closer to the action. Okay, guys? So but let's finish out this turn. I may have some zooming in anyway, but just actual camera, I'll move it closer. Okay. All right, so let's do the actual opportunity fire. Point blank 30. Target is not in any cover whatsoever. He has gone to ground, though, so that drops to 20, but it is plunging fire. Yep, 4 down to 3. So it goes to 25%. 25%, red first. 79, all misses. And 1st Texas here, they will redress, and then with their last one, each of them will fire. 30 minus 10 drops to 20. Minus disruption drops to 15. So 15% for each of them. 31, miss. And 32, miss. Oh, brutal combat in this one. Brutal combat. Okay, that's it for them. So let's go to the 3rd Arkansas. What they're going to do... So what we're going to do is 1, 2, 3. I think that'll be. And then redress. No. And then 4 and move up. And this will have no redress, so they will suffer a disruption, which, hang on, we're going to have opportunity fire, it looks like, but just hang on, hold your horses. And then same thing with him, he's probably going to rotate, and then move up. Okay. So we want to have a little bit more of a solid line here. I just don't want anybody getting flanked. Rebels don't want anybody getting flanked. So, all right, so there's going to be opportunity fire here. Let's see what we got here. So 30. However, target is in the woods, so it drops to 15. Knock on the ground, not obscured because it's adjacent. No disruptions. So it's just a 15, and then it's on the same actual elevation here. Here to here is the same elevation. So 15. So both units will fire. So 15. Oh, that is an 8. So that is a hit. Which you can put the hit marker down, but then it gets turned into a disruption. But you will have two. Technically, the one is going to be from movement. We'll hang on a second here. So that'll be hit there, and then next one, 38. That is a miss. And then they use all their actions just to move where they are. And then the disruption from the movement, I already put that on there. So 2. And then he will go ahead and 1, 2, 3, 4. And so then they will cause another disruption. So actually, disruptions go up to 3. Ugh. That's kind of brutal. And of course, opportunity fire across from them. Should be, I think, the 15%, right? Because it's 30, and then they're in the woods. It's 15, and there's no other modifiers. So, and then elevation's the same again as well. So that'll be, yep, 15%. So top unit will fire. Exactly 15. So that is a hit. Oh my God, brutal. Which turns into a disruption. And the last one. 42. All right. Miss. So 4. Good God. Ugh. I don't even have enough left for any sort of reorganize either. Unfortunately, they use all their movements. They may have to just reorganize next turn. But, okay. Finally, the 15 Georgia. They're going to worry about the flank a little bit. So what they'll do is 1, 2, and then 3, and then 4. So they'll take a disruption on that. Well, actually, it would be multiple, wouldn't it? Okay, they don't want that. So they'll stop here. They get the bonus because they're on the road here. Bonus pivot. So they'll stop to redress. And then 1, 2, and then he'll stop to redress as well, I guess. Did I do that right? 1, 2, rotate. The rotate was 3. 1, 2, and then rotate for free. Or rotate like that. And then redress. Okay. And leader was here, and he will go ahead and move up. Do here. Beautiful. I think that's it, yeah? All the formations activated, everyone's activated, so solid line here, trying to push, potential to be flanked, but 15 Georgia can hopefully move up, swing up here on the rebel left flank, at least protect the left flank long enough for them to push up and capture the high ground here and take at least one position and get at least a minor victory. So, all right, so now we will go back to the Union activation, and I think I'm going to go ahead and move the camera. I'm going to zoom it in here so you guys can get a little closer viewpoint of the action right here. This is important as well, but as of now anyway, this is all it's activating. So let's go ahead and do that. All right, you guys can really see the action now. Here we go. So this is where the heart of the battle is going to be anyway. All right, so it is the Union activation, right? All they have left is Ward's Brigade, which I shouldn't say all they have left because that's all this big line of infantry. They are under a defend order, which they are able to do, you know, reorganize, move, fire combat, go to ground opportunity. Obviously, going to focus on fire, not going to be moving at all here. They're holding the line. They actually have no disruptions. I was thinking of potentially reorganize actions which allows command units to remove disruptions, but there are none. They don't have any, so I think they're going to focus on fire combat and unleash hell on their old rebels here. So let's see what happens. So let's start off. We'll with Ward here, activate him, flip him over, show he's activated, all in command, staying on the defend order, all of that good stuff. Let's just get the artillery kind of back, come up out of the way a little bit. Start off from the bottom, work our way up here. So 124th New York, he is going to bolt that formation. This unit here, let's do some fire combat. Starting off, he's going to do it's point blank, 30%. And he has 3 actions, so the other 2 are going to be volleys, right? So 30, and then each additional volley at point blank adds 15. So that goes up to 60%. Yikes. So 60% firing right here at this stack, which at the top unit. Target is not in woods. Target is not, let's see, in any defensive terrain whatsoever. Just right up in front of everybody. Firing unit is gone to ground, so it is -10, so that drops it to 50%. Again, to show that, with him down kind of in little trenches, fire pits, he has a little bit reduced effectiveness as well. Is it higher elevation? It actually is a higher elevation. So it's plunging fire. So that's 5%. So that goes back up to 55%. So 55%, all of 124th New York, 2-2, firing. 55%. Here we go. Red first. 62. Oh my God. Cannot get a good kind of hit here. Just, oh man. Well, hey, here we go. Let's keep going. All right, so the other 124th New York, see what he can do. He's also going to fire. I think it's going to be the exact same scenario. 30 plus 15 goes to 60. Target is, he isn't gone to ground though, right? So it drops to 50, but then he's plunging fire back up to 55%. Red first. 77, are you kidding me? Lucky rebels firing over them. Must be, because what are they? Well, they're 3, which is seasoned. They should know better. But these crack Texan units, the crack Texans here are like hiding, scampering around. Hard to hit, apparently. Artillery back. Okay. So we'll do the 86 New York here. See what they can do. They're going to just conduct fire combat. Basically up and down the line here, I think, is we're going to see. You'll probably see some movement here. But as of right now, you're just seeing fire combat. So they're going to fire. They are, again, this is 30% point blank. Additional 2, so that adds 30, so total is 60. However, target unit is in the woods, so it does drop to 45. And then, I'm not going to ground though. 45, I'm trying to think here. Is it plunging? No, it's the same. So 45%. 25, there we go. That's a hit. It is not, so be a hit. And it is not, what was I going to say? I'm trying to think here. So I was going to say, I cannot remember. Dang it, my apologies. All right, so the second unit is going to fire, 45%, because the exact same odds. 59, so that is a miss. So 1 hit is applied, which converts the disruption to 5 disruption. Yikes. Not good for the third arc. And third Arkansas is looking mighty shaky. They're going to have to reorganize and reduce that because they're getting close to start taking casualties here. All right, that was 86 New York, right? So now the 20th Indiana, they're going to fire as well. It should be the exact same odds. It'll be 30, 60, minus 15 for being in the woods, 45, and then elevation's the same. Everything else is the same. So 45, red first. 23. Oh, it's close. So that is a hit. And then, so when you're doing the hits, I haven't mentioned it yet because it hasn't happened. So these are normal hits. We're doing normal hits right now. If the die roll is equal or less than half the 2 hits, so in this case 45, which half would be, 22.5, so lower, less than 22 or less, you would apply casualties, which flips units over, right, from their fresh side to their battle-worn side. If you get doubles, which I don't think I've had doubles, if it's while also being a hit. And by the way, the half is called a murderous hit, murderous fire hit. If you had a doubles while also getting a hit or a murderous hit, that's also a critical hit, which causes an additional disruption or withdraw 1. Makes sense? I don't think it's happened yet. Oh, and then if you roll a 1, 0-1, it's an automatically a natural 1, so even if you have a negative chance to hit, a 1 automatically hits. But I think it shouldn't apply for this. So there should just be a regular hit. Max disruption is what it is. But they're going to fire too. So the 3 of 3, 20th Indiana, they're going to go ahead and fire. It's going to be the same thing, 45% chance to hit. Because they get to fire out of, remember, the 1, 2, 3 front hexes. So right there, the cone, right? So hits them in the front. And it is a point blank, of course, because it's 1. So go ahead and roll and be 45%. 94. Oh, man. If they'd gotten hit, it would have caused a casualty. Ah, it's terrible. Dang it. All right, so 6 disruption, which, I mean, 6 disruption technically is going to cause a formation cohesion test if that makes it to the end of the turn here, which it will because the rebels don't get to go again. All right. Now, 23 in it went, so now it'll be the 99th Pennsylvania. They get the last activation. So they'll go ahead and activate them under defend order. What is it? How many movement? 2 movement actions. So they will move 1, just 2, huh? And then 2, and then he will rotate. 1, 2, and he will stay right that way. 1, 2, 3. But then they take they'll take a disruption. They don't care. They're sitting pretty. I'll take a little disruption right here. Okay, I think that's it, right? Everyone got to go. Everyone got to activate. Causes all kinds of craziness here. So, oh boy. So now that's it for activation phases. You go to the mutual close combat. There's not going to be any because under an engage order, you can't do it. The rebels next turn, just sneak peek here, they're going to try to get to an assault order so they can start conducting charges, which leads to close combat. But then we do the mutual rally phase, which for the rebels, they do have formation, 3rd Arkansas, that has 6 disruption. So during the mutual rally phase, any formation that's at a disruption level of 6, which is the 3rd Arkansas, has to make a formation morale test. Whew, here we go. All right, so based on, it's just like most of the things in this game, it's going to be, 1d100. You got your modifiers. So first off, they are a veteran formation, so plus 20% to the roll. That's good. But for each disruption level, and yes, the 6 that it is causes the formation apply, minus 5. So start with 20, minus 5, minus 30 is a minus 10. They're not shattered. Not half the units are not battle worn or eliminated. They have formation integrity. They're not under decisive order, not under defend or regroup order. They're under an engage order. So it's going to be a minus 10% on the roll. Let's see what happens. So checking a cohesion on the formation morale test table. 0.3 minus 10 is negative. Oh my God. So they are shattered. So that formation is shattered. So we will remove, I think the disrupted gets removed. I'll double check that in a second. I know what you do is you remove 1, 2, every other unit except the command unit. Wonderful. The command unit is given the shattered. That's probably why the disruption goes away. Given the shattered, and he has to retreat 4 spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4. Because there's friendly unit there, he has to retreat an additional back to here, and I believe he keeps his facing. So, 3rd Arkansas was shattered and driven from the field. Holy crap! Not so good for the Rebs here. Jesus. So, oh my God. Yeah, things aren't looking too good here. Looking too good for old Johnny Reb. All right. I think that's it for the Asian testing. My God. Shattered Formations rally test. I assume that doesn't happen immediately, does it? Let me check the rules. Okay, I checked on the old Board Game Geek, and it looks, because it's not specified in the rulebook, you do have to wait till the next turn. So it would be the Shattered Formation rally test comes, during the mutual rally phase. If a formation's been shattered that turn, you have to wait till the next turn to check. So unfortunately for us. Whew, okay, and then that should be it, right? Yep, so on to the end turn phase, which again will move the battery activated markers from artillery, and you flip over the leaders, and then goes to the next turn and see what happens here. Oh my God, these poor Revs, I don't think they're done for, but we'll at least play it out here and see what happens. So, all right, yeah, on to the next turn. All right, going into the third of 4 turns, 4:45 turn here. I decided to leave the camera zoomed in to where the primary part of the battle is. Remember, Union does have De Trobriand, 17th Maine, along with Winslow's battery up here of artillery. So we'll be conducting a little bit of fire here and movement in a minute. But all right, let's roll. Check for initiative. So Same die rolls. Here we go. All right, Union beats Confederates again. In addition, because they won initiative 2 turns in a row, they actually have momentum. So you flip the old turn marker over to the momentum side up. So that means they get to activate 3 formations during this activation phase instead of just 2. Okay. All right. Oh boy, this is yeah, not looking too good for the rebels, huh? But hey, let's play it out here at least this turn for sure and see what happens. Oh my gosh. All right. So first player activation phase, it's the Union. Activated brigades, again, they're going to get to activate 3, not just their usual 2. First off, they'll activate, I don't know, Smith's battery of artillery. Conduct a fire action on the first Texas in front of them. Yeah, I think that's probably the best choice at this point. So conduct a point blank fire with all of their action. So 30 base plus 30 for 2 additional volleys. So a total of 60. Target is not in any sort of cover. The 60, let's see, it's also plunging fire. Yep, so that makes it 70. And then it's canister range, so that makes it 90. Did I miss one of these earlier? Did I miss some of these modifiers earlier? I don't know, but they have a 90% chance to hit. So let's see what happens. That is a 99. So that is not any sort of hit there. So even with a 90, they miss. And a 99, unfortunately for them, if you get a 96 or higher, you suffer kind of a low ammo result, which really all you do is go ahead and add one disruption level. So put a disruption on Smith's battery, the artillery here. All right. Now we activate artillery. Oh, might as well just do Ward here, right? As well. Start knocking away. So Ward will go ahead and activate. So his brigade activates. Order, defend order for sure. Check for in command. Yep, everyone is close enough. Farthest off would be 99th. Let's see, Pennsylvania. Technically would be 1, 2. Even then, just 2. So he is good there. 1, 1, 2. Yep, everyone's good. So, all right, starting off, let's do 124th New York. Yeah, they're gonna do fire combat, all their actions here. So 30 plus 15 plus 15, make it 60. Target is not any sort of cover. They are in the ground, so that drops to 50. Gone to ground, excuse me. But then plunging makes it 55. So, yeah, so 55. 67. Man. Well, I shouldn't complain too much. Look what just happened to the 3rd Arkansas. So, Union player side of me, don't complain too much. All right. So no effect. And then he will fire as well. 124th New York over here. 1, 2. Will fire again with the, was it 55? 36. So that is a regular hit and nothing special. So we're just going to go ahead and put the disruption marker on. Oh, okay. So the 86 New York, he will go ahead and fire because they can fire like this. Make the cone member sticking out. So they're going top. Unit will fire. Same dealio. It's going to be, except he's not going to have the plunging. So it'll be what? 30, 60. He's not going to ground either. So it'll just be the 60. Okay, so 60, and then the other unit will be a 60 as well. 28. All right, so now finally the first murderous fire hit. So murderous fire hit causes a casualty. So if it's equal or less than half, which we need 60, we got 28. So that causes a casualty. So the 104, we'll do it. Well, technically it can be him. He is the command unit. There's no penalty as far as I'm aware of eliminating command unit. It just switches to, you just basically replace it with a different unit. So, all right. And then the second 86 New York will fire with a 60 or less to hit. 53, that is a hit. So we'll convert that to be a hit, but it's the last of the formation to fire. So we convert it to a disruption. So he will now have 3 disruption on him. First Texas. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. All right. Let's see. They will. So then we have 20th Indiana. I feel like I gotta move up, right? try to flank him. Would he be able to do that, or would that be too far away? Let's try. So, 1. Oh, defend, you only get 2 movements, though. So remember, 1. You don't want to come to them. Can they move? 2. And I'll stop there, I think. I was getting a little tricky here maneuvering. So this is talking about the tactical games, a little tricky. And then last action, he'll do a redress. He is on a road, so I think he gets a freebie, right, for being on the road. So that's freebie. 2. And then 3. Yeah. All right, we'll do it that way. Then 1, 2, 3. I'll take a disruption, right? 1, 2. And then third will be 3. Okay. That's it for disruptions on them. See what took. Last one was a redress. All right. Let's get lines looking a little messy here. Uh-oh. But it's not that the rebels have too much going on anyway. All right, so we did the artillery, we did Ward. So all we have left is Winslow's battery, and then the Detroit Brind, his 3rd brigade, which is 17th Maine. All right, we'll do the artillery. You guys can't really see them right up here. They're gonna fire. Can't fire anybody adjacent. So they're gonna fire at 15 Georgia right here. I believe I already did the math, but now I forgot it, so I'm going to redo it. Sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And yes, you can fire over if you're higher than, which they are. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, which is 7 is still extreme. It was extreme before anyway. Puts it at 10. Plus 5, plus 5. There's 3. So it's at 25. Target is in the woods. Makes it 10. Obscured. Yep, makes it 0. Plunging fire plus 10. So 10 for each of them to hit. So 10% chance to hit. 40, that's a miss. And the other Winslow battery will fire a 1. That is a hit. 15 Georgia takes their first hit, which turns immediately into a disruption. Yikes. All right. Was that it for... And then artillery already went over here as well. I think that's it for the Union, huh? So the actual rebels finally get a chance to do something here. So, okay. I think that's it. Yep, so let's go over to the... maybe check formation integrity, which everyone's attached. Even them, they look weird, but they are adjacent, I swear. All right, over to the Rebs. All right, so the Rebel player activation phase. Choose a brigade. They only have the 2nd brigade. What's left of it anyway. They are under an engage order. They actually are going to try to change it. So Robertson... issuing the order here, hey, we got to change this. We need the 1st Texas to take this ground. We need them to take it. We need to take it now. So we're going to change or try to change the engage order to an assault order. Assault order will then allow a charge, which leads to the close combat. So how do we do this? Very simple. There is a change orders chart. We will roll on it and see what we get. All right, we roll a 1d10, see what happens. 6, that is an order delay. Okay, so what that means is we take the assault order, we actually put it under the engage order. So the orders take a little while to enact, right? Pretty classic in the American Civil War, many wars, unfortunately. Orders are missed, orders just take a while to be enacted, right? So this turn is going to play it out as an engage with an engage order. And then next, at the end of the turn, we'll go ahead and discard that, and then the assault order will be in effect. All right, so for the engage order then, so check for Robertson for being in command. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep, everyone's in command. They're good. All under the engage order. Let's go ahead and activate the 1st Texas. and see if they can, well, they're not going to be able to do any charging, unfortunately, but they can do some fire combat and see what damage they can cause. So, all right, first Texas here, he's going to go ahead and fire full, everything he's got firing, which he's at point blank range, and he has up to 4 actions he can do. So that adds an additional 40, what is that? 60. Oh man. So 60, 70, 80, 90. So 90 base. The target is, we did check for disruption, unfortunately. So disruption is 5 each, and there's 3, so mine's 15, right? So 75. And the target is gone to ground, so that's minus 10, so 65. And 65 should be it. I think that's 65. So roll 65 for the first one. And technically, it looks like he's firing at the Smith's battery, which he's not going to ground. So that's 75. Yeah, because the Smith's battery is on top here. So, all right, 65. And a 69. So good job missing there. And second unit, again, a 65. And 63. So at least gets a hit, which will convert to a disruption. All right, and then first Texas here is going to fire. Now, hang on. So he has 65, but he is battle worn, so that drops to 55. Yeah, so 55. Oh, gone to ground as well, so that drops to 45. Did I do the math right? Hang on. So 30, 90, 60, 70, 90. I'm getting brain logged here. So 90, but then he's gone to ground, drops to 80, and then disruption drops 15, so 65. Yeah, 65. Okay, all right. The other one may have been higher then. 97, low M. Oh my God. It raises the disruption 4. Fantastic. And then the other unit that fires 8. That's a hit at least. So 124th New York does suffer. That disruption goes right. Hang on. Yay, disruption. Which only 1. Oh man. Oh, Jesus. Oh boy. All right. So then they're done activating. First Texas is done activating. You have the 15th Georgia. They just got to freaking move up here. That's what they got to do. So they'll go 1, 2, 3. And then he'll go 1, 2, 3. Which he moved in the woods. He did not. He gets a free one, but the free one is, I guess, a rotate or whatever. And so then they'll get an extra disruption for the movement, not redressing. And third Arkansas, they'll have to wait till the mutual rally phase to try to rally. And then Robertson, 1, 2, he'll stay. The leader, he'll stay where he is. So, yeah, that's all he'll do. Okay. I think that's it for the Rebs, right? Yep. So the Rebs are done. So we go back to first player, the Union. They've activated everybody except for Detrobian, right? Yep. Detrobian will activate his 3rd Brigade under the maneuver order, which really needs to get them out of that because maneuver, they can only do 1 fire and no other combat. So I think they want to, should they move up first? They'll try moving up first. All right. So under maneuver order, you get a free move action. All right. 1, 2. Should try to change, shouldn't they? That's what you're going to try. So he's going to try to change your order as well to a engage order. Roll 1d10. 5. Superior, average, order delay, inferior, no change. He is an average leader. So there's an order delay. So we will grab the old engage, place it under. So they are under the maneuver order. 1, 2. 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then he suffers, where they get suffer 1, 2, yikes, too many disruptions, hang on. There. And he gets a free rotate, so be like that. Yep, there we go. So that way, redress. That way he's not suffering a bunch of disruptions. Okay. I'm going to mess that up, but I don't care. It doesn't look too good for the Rebs. I'm not too worried about it. All right. Okay. And that should be it, right? Yeah, that's it for everyone's activation. So we do mutual close combat. Not going to happen because there's an order isn't there yet. And then it's going to be a mutual rally phase. So we're going to have a rally. Dun, dun, dun. 3rd Arkansas Shattered Formation is going to try to rally. I'm trying to think if there's any modifiers for, it's just their experience. So because it is a veteran unit, it doesn't get plus 20%, so that's definitely going to help. So roll and see what happens. Oh, nice. So 84 plus 20, so 104, which they are going to rally, which means you remove the Shattered from him, and they don't get place any other units on him. Any disruption, excuse me. So he still has to bring back the other units, but at least he's no longer a shattered formation in general. So this scenario is not long enough to really do much else with them, but is what it is. All right, shattered formation rally we just did. No one else is at 6 though, right? Nope, he's at 4. So he's good. And all right, that's it. So end turn phase, and we'll go into the last turn of the game. All right, 4th and final turn, 5 p.m. turn here. Check for roll for initiative. Union wins again, so they'll keep momentum as well. Oh boy. All right, so starting off, I'm going to go ahead and activate Smith's Battery here for a fire combat. I'm firing on 1st Texas here. So point blank is 30. He has 2 others, so that'll add an additional 30. So that's a total of 60. Target is not in any sort of cover. Artillery does have 2 disruption though, so that drops it to 50. However, his a plunging fire is raised to 60, and he's firing canister since it's adjacent, so that goes up to 80. So let's see what happens. That is a 5 on an 80. So, let's see here. So if you have it would just be a murderous hit, huh? Not just. I mean, that's pretty bad, but okay, just a murderous hit. So flip over unit to battle worn. Still pretty nasty though. Okay, and then that is it for the artillery battery. Move him out of the way a little bit. The 120, and then let's do Ward. Yeah, he might as well just go ahead and activate. So he's gonna go ahead and activate him. His defend order. That's pretty far away, actually. Hang on. 1, 2, 3, 4. But then that's a freebie, I think. They get a free +1 space if it's on the road. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, he's good anyway. I don't know why I'm trading this out. 1, 2. Through the woods is 2, 3, 4. So he's good. 1, 2, 3. 99th may be out of command, actually, now that I think about it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think the 99th Pennsylvania is out of command. Yikes. So we mark them with the out of command. Not good for them. Although, like you're saying, I mean, I don't know if I'm just worried, but that's a little bit bummer. So they have 1 less, they follow the same order, and then they get 1 less action per turn. So, okay. All right, see, that's why I got to check for command, right? It does happen. Okay, 124th New York, we're going to have him go first. He'll conduct fire combat, of course. 30, so makes it 60. Does he have any? There's 1 disruption. So hang on. 60. Gone to ground, drops it to 50. He's got disruption, drops it to 45. But it is plunging fire, just backs up to 50. So 50 and fire straight ahead. 13. So that is a murderous hit. So that is a casualty. So, being that this is battle worn already, he is removed from the map. And he will fire at him. Same thing, it should be 50. Actually, his is even, he's plunging fire plus 5. Oh, it's not, it is plunging fire as well. All right, so 50. Yep. Oh, 98. So he actually takes, cause a disruption, low ammo. Bummer. And then 86 New York will each fire as well. There should be, I think, very similar. 30, 60. But no plunging fire. So 60? Straight 60? Yeah. 45, so that's a hit. And then last unit fires. 54, that's a hit. So that raises the disruption. It's 2 hits, raises the disruption to 6. All right, the 20th Maine. We'll go ahead and move. And then they're going to be firing and firing into the flank here. So 1 to fire. They'll take a disruption, though, because they're not going to stop to here. Not going to stop. He's just going to move, fire. Fire at him. He has 2 actions, so one will be the fire, second one will be the volley. So it starts at 30, adds, it's point blank, right? So 45. 45. High defense doesn't help at all. Does have disruption, so it drops to 40. And then that should be it. So it's a 40. Ah! Well, there goes a die, so we're going to reroll. Bounce right out and gone. Reroll. 98, so it actually just adds a disruption. Bummer to them. Did not help. All right. And then the other 20th Indiana unit, he'll sidle to the side, draws 2 movement actions, which he has. He can do 2 as part of the defend. So he'll move to the side. Just that way it just maintains that formation integrity. He does not have, he's 1 left, but he can't fire at anybody, so he can't rotate either, can he? Kind of stuck there. That's okay. All right, that'll be it for him. And then they're out of command, so they'll do a sidle as well, and he'll do a sidle as well. So that way he can at least try to. 1, 2. Does that cause disruptions? I suppose it would because they're through the woods, huh? And they didn't get to. That goes up to 4 disruption. Oh yikes! We're suffering over here. Hey, it's not all a cakewalk for the Union, but close enough. Okay. All right. So we did battery activated as well as wards brigade activated. That's everybody. We have Detroit Brand. We have another battery because they had momentum, so you can do 1. Oh no, momentum is you can do reactivate an additional 1, right? Oh boy. So with momentum, they're gonna go ahead and activate, which I might have messed that up. I think I might have did dominant earlier when it was momentum last turn. Let me double check the rules. All right, so yeah, with dominant, you activate a 3rd or an extra, and then momentum, you get to reactivate somebody. So I'm going to reactivate the Smith's battery here and fire at old First Texas, and trying to see if we can take him out here. So he has I think it's about a 90% chance to hit, but let's just double check. 30 becomes 60. 50 because of disruption, but then 60 for plunging, 80 for canister. So it's an 80% chance. 80% chance. 5. So that is a murderous hit, which does cause a casualty, which would have done it anyway. Fortunately, it kind of doesn't have the same impact because with that 6 disruption, any hit that causes a disruption would also cause a casualty. So, all right. I think that's it for the Union. So now it goes to the Rebs. So the rebels get to go ahead and discard the engage order, and they have a assault order. So we're gonna go ahead and what we're gonna do, their only chance, because the last turn of the game, is to capture one of these spots here. So they're gonna have to launch their assault. Fortunately, they can't do it yet, right? Because it's the end phase, but see what they can do here. So they are going to, let's see, under an assault order, no reorganize. Oh man, so they can't even, I was gonna say reduce their disruption. They can't do that. Oh man. All I can do is fire, huh? All right, well, I guess I'll do that. So I'm gonna go ahead and first text is here, 4/4. He's gonna go ahead and fire all of what he's got. So 30 plus 4 more volleys. That adds 60, 70, 90. Target, and he's firing at the artillery. So the minus 30 for being disrupted. So it drops to 60. And he's battle worn, drops to 50. So 50. Not bad. And that's a miss. And then he will fire at him. He will also have, I believe it's a 50. So 90. Oh, target has actually gone to ground, so it may actually be worse. 90, and then minus 10, so 40. Okay, so that's an extra disruption, which plus 1 disruption. He already has at 6, which means he suffers a casualty. Which means the 2 here flips over. Wonderful. So every unit in the first text is battle worn now. And then was it the last one was gonna fire? Yeah, what did I say, like a 40? I'm not gonna recalculate. 25, that's a hit. Cool. So disruption goes up to 3. All right. Perfect there. And then there. And then 15 Georgia. And everyone's in command, by the way. 15 Georgia's going to go ahead and not going to do much to it, I guess. But they can move up and then fire. They move up. Well, shoot. You move up. They will, though, suffer opportunity fire. So Union here, you can opportunity fire the 20th Indiana. You can opportunity fire right at him. So it's 1. So it's a 30. In the woods drops to 15. He has 2 disruption. That drops to 5. Yikes. On the same level, so 5%. 32, no good. And same thing with him. That'll be 5%. Wait, that's a different formation. Which is worse because he has 4 disruption. So it'll be 0%. So just roll a 1. They've got a 4. Close. Not quite good enough. All right, so now 15 Georgia, would they move 1, right? And then they'll suffer the disruption because they're just going to fire and... All right. And they'll fire, which is 2 actions they're firing with, right? So 30, 45... And then target unit is in the woods, though. That drops to 30. And they have 4 disruption. 5 each, so that's 10, so 10 total. 81, that's a miss. And then the second unit will fire. 97, that's another disruption. Just fantastic. Okay. And Team Georgia here. Jeez, looking a little rough. I don't know. He'll 1, 2, 3, and stop. And then he takes. Oh, it's a disruption. 15 Georgia. I'll put them at 6th. Oh, so he'll stay like this then. Maybe. Oh God. Well, Looking good. He'll stay. He won't even go anywhere. Oh my God, what a mess. And then the 3rd Arkansas. Is he close enough? Was he out of command? 1, 2, 4, 5, 6. No, he's actually in command. 1, 2, 3, and then redress. So a little bit of a line here. Oh my God. All right. So I think that's it for the Rebs, all right? All of them? Yep, that's all of them. So now we go back to the Union side. So they get to activate the rest of theirs. I'm going to pass with the batteries, the Winslow's batteries off map. I'm not even going to mess with them. They have Detroit here, which maneuver drops or changes to engage, excuse me. Order goes through, so it'll activate. So they will go ahead and he will move up. Boom, which does cause opportunity fire from 3rd Arkansas here. That is 30, and target is in the woods, so it drops to 15, and then nothing else. Oh, just 15. Actually, it's also, oh no, it's not. It's just 15. Okay. 88, so that's a miss. No effect. They moved, and they will fire. Do some fire on him. 1, and then 1 volley. So 30, 45. Target in the woods drops to 30. And then plunging fire. So 35. 93, it's a miss. And then the 2nd unit. 42. It's at 35, right? So that's a miss. Bummer. And then 17th Maine here will move up. 3, and then he will suffer opportunity fire, which let's just see what we got. Oh, 10. That may be a hit. Hang on, let me calculate it now. 30. Targets in the woods though, so that's 15. Oh, with all their disruptions, that's a miss. And then he will fire. I'll take 1 to redress, I guess. So no, 1. Yeah. I don't know if I redressed with the other guys. Whatever. And he'll fire. See what he got. 58, that's a miss. Okay. All right, I think that's it. So it's all going to come down to some close combat here. So let's do this out. So we have, everyone's activations are done. I'm calling them here. We go into the mutual close combat phase. And here is where, yeah, the rebels are going to try, and God bless them, see what they can do here. Okay, so during the mutual close combat phase, any units that are under a charge, or excuse me, an assault order with the ability to charge may do so. In this case, it's the rebels, and it is the 2nd Brigade, has an assault order, which means they can conduct a charge, which they are going to do. So they are choosing the 1st Texas here. They're not going to mess around anywhere else, because remember, the VP locations are up here, and then actually right here. So if they could capture one of these, could get eke out a victory here. A little bit of a Pyrrhic one, but they'll take it, right? Okay, so see what they can do. So they announce in charge. Very simple. 1st Texas is going to charge, so we go ahead and just move the units into that space. All right, so move them into that same. They're occupying the same location currently as 124th New York, along with the Smith's Battery of Artillery. Whew. So close combat. Here's how we do close combat. The charge, which I've announced, charges and moving. There's going to be the close combat sequence begins with the charging unit or units moving in the same space. Then you conduct a defender morale test to hold. So basically, the defender's going to see, are they going to actually hold and stay? They may, depending on that morale test, they may conduct defensive fire. And if there's still attackers left at that point, you would have the charging morale test to close. So basically, attackers, they still have the guts to keep charging, even though the defenders haven't gone anywhere. And then if they do that, they're really occupying the same spot, and then they're going to engage in bayonet combat. All right, so let's go ahead and start off with the defender morale test to hold. So you're taking the unit, you're checking for the unit on top here, so Smith's Battery here. You're going to check for what is his rating. He's seasoned, so that's plus 15%. East Disruption, which he has 2, drops it by 5 each, right? So that 15 drops to 5. He's not confident. He's not battle worn. he also, no, yep, so that, yep. So it'll be, I believe it's a 5, I said, right? Yep, so 5%. So we're going to roll on the unit morale test chart for the defender test to hold with a +5. So 77 plus 5, that's going to give us an 82. So he passes and he gets conduct defensive fire. All right, so the defensive fire from the artillery will be the same as opportunity fire, right? So it's 1 shot, no additional volleys. So point blank, 30% plus, let's see, 30, just running through the modifiers here, minus 10 for the disruption, so that drops to 20. However, it is canister, so it does go up to 40%. Yep, so 40%. That is a 3. So that is a murderous hit. Applies casualties, so 4 this first Texas unit is eliminated from the battlefield. Wow, okay, charge is stopped, so we will not have to continue that close combat because the rebels have been driven from the field there. Now we will have the close combat that will occur right here. Okay, so same thing. We have this charge. They're in the same space. Defender morale test to hold. He is going to go ahead and make a morale test. The defender, he has, what is his modifier? So he is a 3, which he is seasoned, so plus 15%. He does have 3 disruption, so that drops to 0. So there's a straight die roll to see what happens. 32% with a straight die roll. A 32 is pass. Oh my God. So pass just barely. So now we will go to the charging morale test to close. By the way, no defensive fire. Also, if he had rolled a 30, so 2 less, he would have had to withdraw, which means the 124th New York unit would have moved back, which means the rebels would have been able to take that location, which means because there's no other activations, I believe, yep, they would have won the scenario. Oh my God. But it ain't over yet, so let's see what happens. All right, so no defensive fire, but defender's holding, so now it's the charging test to close. Top unit here, we're going to check. So again, check his modifiers, right? He is 5, so that is crack, so it gives him plus 25%. However, he has 6 disruption, minus 30, so that's a minus 5. He's also battle worn, so that's another minus 10, so total minus 15. The defender, I don't see any modifiers. Defender, he's supported, so it adds 10 because there's two units there, so that's a plus 5. I thought there was something for uphill or downhill. Maybe not. Thought there was. Well, whatever. It is what it is. So what did I say? Plus 5? I'm going to recalculate again. Sorry, guys, but I just want to make sure I do it right here. So plus 25 for being crack, but then minus 30, so negative 5. No confident. Battle worn, though, so that's minus 15. But he supported plus 10, so it's only a minus 5 total. Minus 5 total. He got a 5 with a minus 5. So 0. So, or well, 1, whatever, the lowest he can get. So he has to withdraw 2, and then he takes 2 disruption. Or withdraw or take 2 disruption. He's going to withdraw because we can't take a disruption. We can't afford that. So he will go ahead and just withdraw. I believe withdraws, is it 2 hexes, 2 spaces, I believe. Well, it doesn't matter because this is the last action of the game, so it doesn't matter, but he does a withdraw. Check the rulebook to see how many spaces he actually withdraws. I think it's 2, though. And then now we have an additional one. Now we have the second unit of the first Texas that's still there. They get to conduct theirs. So now we go ahead and back through, right? We're having kind of another additional charging. So start off with defender test to hold. He is seasoned, so plus 15. However, he has disruption, minus 15, so it converts it to 0. And then that's it. So straight die roll. See what happens. a 53. So he passes. Yep, so he passes, so he holds. So now we have the attacker charging test to close, just like before. So he has 25. Then disruption, so it's -5 or -5, whatever, -5. And then he's battle worn as well, so it's -15. And no other modifiers. He's not supported anymore, so -15. Oh, 68 -15. What would that be? 53. A 53 is halt. Charge halted. Oh, if he'd gotten up to, well, he would have needed a lot higher. He would have needed at least a 71 to pass it and then to get into actual bayonet combat. So he is halted, which means the charge is halted, so he has to retreat back to his space. And that ends the close combat. It ends the mutual close combat phase as well. Mutual rally phase. He has to make a test. First Texas does. But it doesn't really matter. My apologies for the noise in the background. The mutual rally phase doesn't matter because game is over. End turn phase, and the rebels failed to capture a victory point location. And considering how they're looking and all the eliminated units, yeah. So this is a Union victory. It's not a, I believe it should be a minor victory. When they shatter a formation, they get a, I think it's a major victory. However, I'm just checking here. It's a minor victory. Union player wins a minor victory. At least one Confederate formation is shattered. Union player wins a major victory. Well, it's not shattered anymore, so I think it's just a minor Union victory at this point. But it actually came down really, really close to one die roll where, even after all this, the rebels could have pushed back 124th New York here and taken that location and then would have won the scenario. Barely. Again, a very Pyrrhic victory if they had done so. All right. Wow. That is Into the Whirlpool in action. You guys got to see a whole scenario. Everything. You got movement. You got combat. Were mistakes made? Probably a couple of calculations, especially the with the modifiers and such. It could be a bit much sometimes adding and subtracting all of them together, especially when you're on camera. But I hope you guys got a good idea how the game works. Hope you guys enjoyed that. I will, at some point, probably 5-6 days after this playthrough goes up, I will definitely have a review video going up. Yeah, hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know if you've played this game, if you're interested in getting it. Comment below, thumbs up, and of course, if you made it this far, I would definitely appreciate you subscribe. It's free. Just click the subscribe button. You don't have to watch all my videos. Just watch the ones that you are interested in. Otherwise, thanks everybody, and until next time, later.